Introduction: the day Japan changed forever. March 11, 2011. It was a normal Friday afternoon in Japan. Children were still in classrooms, people were finishing work, preparing for the weekend. No one could imagine that in just a few hours, the country would face one of the greatest technological disasters of the 21st century. At 2:46 p.m., a magnitude 9.0 earthquake struck off the northeastern coast of Honshu. It was one of the most powerful earthquakes ever recorded on Earth. Minutes later, alarms started to sound. A massive tsunami was on its way. On the coast stood the Fukushima Daiichi nuclear power plant, a symbol of Japan's technological ambition. Within hours, it would become a symbol of disaster. Japan and its nuclear path. To understand Fukushima, we need to look back. Japan is a country with scarce natural resources. After the oil crises of the 1970s, it invested heavily in nuclear energy to ensure energy independence. Fukushima Daiichi, built in the 1970s with 6 BWR boiling water reactors designed by General Electric, was a flagship project. It was seen as modern, reliable, and safe. By 2011, the plant was already decades old, but still in operation. For Japan, nuclear power represented progress. For the world, Fukushima was proof that even the safest systems could be vulnerable. The earthquake, first shock. At 2:46 p.m., the ground shook violently. The earthquake lasted nearly 6 minutes, shaking buildings as far as Tokyo, over 300 kilometers away. Skyscrapers swayed, trains stopped, and sirens warned of an incoming tsunami. Inside Fukushima Daiichi, safety systems kicked in. The reactors automatically shut down. Control rods were inserted, and the chain reaction stopped. Operators reported the shutdown had worked as designed. But there was a hidden danger. Even when shut down, nuclear fuel continues to produce massive amounts of decay heat. Without cooling, the cores can overheat, leading to meltdown. The tsunami, a killer. About 50 minutes later, the tsunami arrived. The waves reached 14 meters high, while the plant's seawall was only 5.7 meters. The ocean surged over the defenses, flooding the site. The diesel backup generators, located in basements, were submerged within minutes. Power was lost completely, a scenario known as station blackout. With no electricity, pumps, valves, and cooling systems stopped working. The reactors could no longer be cooled. Time was running out. The silent enemy. Loss of cooling as hours passed, water levels in the reactor vessels dropped. Fuel rods became exposed. Their zirconium cladding reacted with steam at over 2,000 degrees Celsius, producing hydrogen gas. Hydrogen began to build up inside the reactor buildings. It was invisible, odorless, but highly explosive. The plant workers fought desperately, bringing in fire trucks, portable pumps, even car batteries to power instruments. But pressure kept rising. The reactors were becoming bombs waiting to explode. Explosions, images that shocked the world. On March 12th at 3:36 p.m., the first explosion tore apart the building of Reactor 1. A huge cloud of smoke and debris rose into the sky. Television cameras captured the blast, and the world gasped. 2 days later, Reactor 3 exploded in an even more violent blast. Concrete and steel fragments rained down around the plant. Shortly after, Reactor 4's building was also destroyed by accumulated hydrogen. The explosions did not directly destroy the reactor cores, but they caused massive releases of radioactive material into the air and ocean. The crisis had begun in full force. Evacuation lives turned upside down. As the explosions shook the reactor buildings, the Japanese government expanded the evacuation zone. First 3 kilometers, then 10, and finally 20 kilometers around the plant. In practice, about 150,000 people were forced to leave their homes. This was unlike an evacuation for a storm or earthquake. The threat was invisible radiation. Families boarded buses with little more than the clothes on their backs. Some took pets, others grabbed a few valuables. Many thought they'd return within days. For most, that never happened. Entire towns became ghostly. Schools stood frozen in time, textbooks open on desks. Shops left goods on shelves. Calendars still marked March 2011. Nature reclaimed the streets. Grass and weeds grew through cracks. Wild animals wandered through abandoned houses. For the evacuees, the trauma was immense. They lived for months in gymnasiums, temporary housing, or with relatives. Stress, uncertainty, and stigma took a toll. Rates of depression, suicide, and health problems rose. The disaster scarred not just the land but the lives of thousands. Radiation and health consequences. Large amounts of radioactive isotopes escaped into the air and ocean, particularly iodine, 131, and cesium-137. Iodine concentrates in the thyroid gland, posing a cancer risk, especially for children. Cesium contaminates soil and water, persisting for decades. The Japanese government distributed iodine tablets and began an unprecedented health survey. Tens of thousands of children underwent thyroid screenings. Debate continues today about the true health impact. Some experts argue exposure levels were relatively low compared to Chernobyl. Others warn the long-term effects could be more serious than officials admit. What is clear is that fear of radiation shaped daily life. Food, water, even air were viewed with suspicion. Unlike Chernobyl, Fukushima did not cause widespread acute radiation sickness. But the long-term psychological and social effects were profound, a reminder that nuclear disasters are as much about people as they are about physics. International response: shockwaves. Across the world, Fukushima's shock spread far beyond Japan. In Germany, Chancellor Angela Merkel announced the country would shut down all nuclear plants by 2022. Italy held a referendum rejecting nuclear energy. Switzerland froze plans for new reactors. Elsewhere, France and Russia doubled down on nuclear energy, but invested heavily in safety upgrades. The United States ordered reviews of flood and blackout protections at its nuclear sites. Fukushima became a symbol of technological vulnerability. It forced the world to ask, can nuclear power ever truly be safe? For some, it marked the beginning of the end of the nuclear era. For others, it was a call to innovate and build safer reactors. Economic costs and endless cleanup. The economic toll of Fukushima was staggering. Cleanup and compensation costs are estimated at hundreds of billions of dollars. Decommissioning the plant will take 30 to 40 years, possibly longer. One of the biggest challenges has been contaminated water. Cooling melted fuel requires constant water injection. That water becomes radioactive and has been stored in massive steel tanks. By 2023, millions of tons had accumulated. Japan began gradually releasing treated water into the Pacific, with approval from the International Atomic Energy Agency, but protests erupted from China, South Korea, and local fishermen. Another challenge: soil. In contaminated areas, the top layers had to be scraped away and packed into black bags. Today, millions of these bags sit in temporary storage sites, stark reminders of the disaster. The cleanup is a battle against time, money, and radiation. And it's a battle that will define Fukushima for generations. Fukushima today, emptiness and hope more. Then a decade later, some zones around Fukushima have reopened. Small number of residents, mostly older people, have returned. Younger families rarely do. Fear of radiation remains, even where official levels are declared safe. Many villages remain silent, their streets overgrown, their houses collapsing. They are living monuments to March 2011, frozen in time. Yet Japan also seeks renewal. It invests in renewable energy, but paradoxically, it still relies on nuclear power to meet climate goals. Fukushima has become both a warning and a catalyst, a reminder of what went wrong and a push to find safer solutions. Conclusion. Lessons from Fukushima. Fukushima was not a single mistake. It was a chain of events: earthquake, tsunami, blackout, hydrogen explosions, evacuation, contamination. Together, they created a disaster that shook global confidence in nuclear energy. It reminded us that no system is perfect, no safeguard absolute. That the power of nature can undo decades of engineering in minutes. March 11, 2011, was the day Japan discovered its limits. And the rest of the world learned that in the nuclear age, humility before nature is not a choice, it's survival. If you want more stories about science, technology, and the lessons of history, subscribe to Webmaxi, where facts change the way we see the world.